What's up, everybody? This is Tim from Armwrestling Secrets, and today I wanted to offer a little trigger warning before we start. Because in this video, we're going to talk about why side pressure is the wrong way to arm wrestle. Okay, let's get right into it. Okay, so we're talking about side pressure today, okay, and how I think that it's no good for arm wrestling, okay? And I'm going to explain that, and I'm going to explain why. Now, I get a lot of pushback from people on that, and I find that interesting, but I also know why, and we're going to talk about that in this video too. Okay, now the side pressure approach to arm wrestling, okay, let's just talk about what I consider side pressure, and then we'll have clarity at the very beginning at least, okay? So, a side pressure approach to arm wrestling would be this. On the go, you decide the best way to arm wrestle is to go side pressure. You're gonna push to the side. You're going towards the pad. You're gonna use the direct route, right? The pad's here, and you're gonna smash your opponent by going sideways. Okay, that's what you think. That's what side pressure is, okay? So anytime you're in a match and you're just using this force, whether you're high and you're trying to push this way, or whether you're back here and you're like this, or whether you get really extended, okay? And that's the method you're gonna use, okay? That's a side pressure approach to arm wrestling, okay? Now, I'm telling you right now, that's the wrong way to arm wrestle, okay? And here's where I'm going to go with it right away, okay? And here's my trigger warning. Toddzilla proves my point. Every time I make a side pressure video, it's amazing. Everyone goes, yeah, tell that to Toddzilla. And they're like laughing, you know, as they walk it away, okay? Toddzilla is one guy, okay? Toddzilla is the side pressure king. His body, for whatever reason, his body can employ tremendous power sideways, okay? I see it. I get it. I watch it, okay? Now, he is an elite, world-class athlete. So when you say, hey, tell that to Toddzilla, what other examples can you come up with of somebody who uses side pressure like that to win a whole bunch of matches, including a world championship? Right, and those of you guys that are like John Brzank and Angerbayev and Prudnik, you have no idea what you're talking about, okay? They're not using a side pressure approach to arm wrestling, okay? They're employing classical arm wrestling. They're doing presses and hooks and drags and back pressure and all kinds of things, but they're not just employing a side pressure approach, okay? And my point of bringing up Toddzilla, because here's the thing about Toddzilla, he is amazing. Okay, he is world class. Okay, and I think he's amazing. I think he's an awesome athlete. I love watching him arm wrestle. Okay, however, side pressure, in my opinion, side pressure has become a toxic cult. Okay, and I don't want to see it poisoning all the young arm wrestlers that are starting their careers out there that have regular bodies. Your body is not built like Toddzilla. And I'm going to make a little example here. Think about this. Okay. Now, when we're looking at Toddzilla, for those of you that are like, you know, Toddzilla can do it. Anyone can do it. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Think about that. Why don't you pick some other elite athlete from another sport? Think about what they can do, okay? Let's look in the past. And I remember when I was growing up, I saw Michael Jordan play basketball, okay? He could fly through the air. He could dunk the ball over people's heads, okay? He could jump from the free throw line and do a slam dunk, okay? Now, Toddzilla is like in arm wrestling, okay? It's the same thing. He's doing something that's unbelievable and tremendous to watch. that doesn't mean you can do it. Okay, his body's built like that. It's the same thing as Michael Jordan, the basketball player. Look at that. When you see him flying through the air, doing a dunk from the free throw line, do you think by watching him do that, do you think that you could train? If he, just train like Michael Jordan and you'll be able to fly all the way from the free throw line and do a dunk, right? It's the same thing as Toddzilla. It's the same thing as when you guys are bringing up Toddzilla and saying, well, look at what he's doing. Don't tell me that side pressure doesn't work for arm wrestling. It doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for almost anybody. It works for elite people. Toddzilla has managed to make that work for him because his body is built like that, and he trains tremendously hard for it. And his style is extremely difficult because nobody else uses it, because no one else can do it, okay? So my point coming back to you, wherever you are in your arm wrestling career, okay? Side pressure. You're already putting yourself at a huge disadvantage by just thinking that you should be training and working on side pressure for arm wrestling, okay? Now let's look at the muscles first, okay? Before we even go on, okay? Let's look at the musculature, okay? And before anyone panics and freaks out, okay? Just look at the muscles and listen to what I'm saying first, okay? And it'll make more sense, okay? What muscles do you have? What muscles does a human being have available to do this motion? This is what you're talking about, right? Side pressure? What muscles are you talking about? You have one muscle that brings the arm across the chest. Internal rotation by the subscapularis. It is one of the 4 rotator cuff muscles. Your teres minor and your infraspinatus externally rotate. They're not going to help you at the table. Okay? That's 2 of the 4. They're going this way. Okay? Your supraspinatus, okay, that initiates this movement. Okay? That's not going to help you at the table either. Okay? That leaves us with one available muscle to bring across the table. Same thing here. You have one available muscle to produce power with a side pressure approach. One, okay? And it's the same thing. If you're turning this way and you're still trying to do this, the same muscle has to work. It's not like you can suddenly turn this way and employ side pressure in some better way. It's still the same motion regardless of the angle of your body. You're forcing your body to use one muscle when you're trying side pressure, and you wonder why you're losing your matches, okay? Now, I'm going to come back to something in a second, but look at this. Now, the opposite of a side pressure approach. Now, I always tell people back pressure approach, back pressure rotational approach. Watch, okay? Now, you can see me from the side here. When I'm going sideways, like I said, primarily you just have one muscle that can actively move the arm across the chest. You have your chest muscle, okay? And you have your lat muscle. Those are to pin the arm to the side. That is called humeral. Your humerus is the bone here. That is called humeral adduction. That is not internal rotation, okay? You're going to see those terms mixed in there together in anatomy, okay? But those are 2 different things, okay? They're both considered internal rotation, okay? Okay, but the one in arm wrestling that we're using, we're not just pinning the arm to the side, okay? You need strength in the subscapularis if you're gonna do side pressure, okay? Because that's the only muscle you have to resist that, okay? Now, when you're looking from the side, you have your biceps, you have all of your forearm muscles, you have your wrist, okay? And you have the most powerful muscle in arm wrestling is your lat muscle, your back muscle, okay? When you're doing side pressure, how are you going to use your lat muscle? Pulling back, down and back, and then you're rotating at the wrist. That's how to arm wrestle, okay? Back. When I'm arm wrestling, I'm focusing on some type of manipulation here. You're top rolling, you're manipulating at the wrist. When you're hooking, you're manipulating at the wrist, okay? And then I deliver force backwards, okay? I'm starting with my elbow right at the top of the pad, usually at the right-hand corner, okay? It gives me all this room back here to drive and pull. When you're side pressuring approach, what are you doing? How are you can't employ you're not employing any of these muscles. You're not employing any of the really strong, powerful pulling muscles, okay? And remember, arm wrestling is called pulling. It's called pulling for a reason. It's not called pushing, okay? So like I said, if you're up there and you're trying to win, even if you're trying different moves, okay? Hooks and top rolls, I get it. Your force is going towards the pad. That's wrong. It's all wrong, okay? Same motion, same match. Instead of focusing on this, instead of focusing on your power coming towards the pad, don't do that. Focus on your power coming towards you. And then when I go this way, I'm changing levels with my body towards the pad, okay? So when I'm here, I'm not ever actively pushing towards this pad. If I was hooking someone and pulling, I would pull, watch my body. My body's going down. I am not forcing my body to the side. Okay, guys, so just to explain a little bit further about, side pressure and how it's turning into kind of a major thing in arm wrestling. And this is, I wanted to touch on a couple of the reasons why. Okay, so one major reason is you have a lot of people training side pressure. They're putting out content and they're like, how to train side pressure, okay? And that's fine, okay? But they're giving people the impression, especially beginners, especially people who haven't really been at the table, they're giving them the impression that side pressure is as good of an approach as any other. You just have to decide what you want to do. Or, worse yet, maybe you should train it all. Maybe you should train side pressure and back pressure and pressing and hooking and top rolling, and maybe at the same time you can quit your job and fly to a private island and you could come to private practices on your helicopter, right? You're a regular person and you only have a regular amount of time, just like me, right? Training time. If you make the decision, the fatal decision, in my opinion, unless you're built like Toddzilla, I really apologize. If you're built like Toddzilla and you're out there winning championships with your deadly side pressure, okay? If you're out there and you're like crushing people with side pressure, they're doing everything, they're hooking and they're top rolling and they're doing other things. All you're doing is going like this, right? I'd be really surprised by that, okay? Now, I wanted to say something, and this is something that I found interesting, is a lot of the people that push back hard on my side pressure, who do you think they are? The pro arm wrestlers coming to my channel and going, you don't know what you're talking about, okay? No, it's very often, and this is an assumption I'm making, but I think it's very often people who've never competed in a tournament. They're watching arm wrestling all the time, and they're probably training all the time, and they're training hard, and they've got it into their mind that side pressure is the way to go. Okay, and they have training videos on it. They have training videos by some really, really, really good arm wrestlers, okay? And like I said, that's fine, but they're getting the impression that, look, I got 10 videos from these guys that arm wrestle at the Nemiroff Cup, and they're telling me that side pressure is okay. So I understand why people are doing it. I understand that there's training videos on it. There's good people showing side pressure. And then you have, like the ultimate example, you have a guy like Toddzilla, who's winning big time using his side pressure approach, okay? And all of that has kind of created this situation where side pressure is starting to appear to be a feasible method of arm wrestling, especially, like I said, especially for beginners who don't really know as much of what they're doing. You have to make the decision. It's really important for your arm wrestling career. Look, I know what you want. You want to hold some trophies. You want to win some tournaments, right? Okay? If that's what you want, you have to make some critical decisions about what you're going to do with your training. If you have made the decision, like I said, if you made the decision that you're going to go forward with a side pressure approach to arm wrestling, you're going to lose. More than likely, you're going to have a losing career and you're going to badly damage your arm. Now, I'm trying to help you. There's going to be people that are going to push back and they're going to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Right? I mean, if you're going to tell me that side pressure is the way to go, don't show me a video of Toddzilla doing it. Show me a video of you doing it. Because this channel is about you. This channel is about getting you better. This channel is about you being a better competitive athlete. I hope everyone has a great winning approach to arm wrestling. I hope everyone gets a chance to hold a trophy in their hands, okay? I'm telling you from bitter experience that if you're just starting out, okay, and you're arm wrestling and you're focusing on a side pressure approach, that is wrong, okay? The approach should be the opposite. Focus on the back pressure and the rotation, your hooking strength, your pronation strength, and your back pressure, your wrist strength, not internal rotation. That's all I have about that one, guys. I'll see you in the next one.